marks, especially URI and who Barron.
And we are ready for basketball. Plenty of storylines to get to, but let's get to the opening tip. Earl Watson, Tim Clargerty, Carl Hess, our officiating crew. Providence in the road black, URI in the home white. Outerbridge wins the tip to Holton, and we're underway here at the Ryan Center.
And as you mentioned, a very different lineup for Rhode Island, obviously with Andre Malone in the starting lineup. Rhode Island actually playing 3 guards to begin this basketball game.
Feed to Holton, blocked on the inside by Ron Gipley, and Providence wants to run off the defensive play. Providence has a lot of speed. They've been able to score, but it's on the defensive end where I think a lot of people have taken note of how good they have been under Ed Cooley. There's Buchanan with the rebound. His head is up, and Malone running down the court looking for his first points, but a whistle stops play. Happy to have Vin Parisi as the third member of our team tonight. Vin.
I'll tell you what, guys, in a game that's normally highlighted by the history of the rivalry, tonight it's been more about the question marks, especially URI and who Barron was going to start. Ed Cooley was wondering, with Nikola Milesevic out with the hand injury. Jamal Wilson coming back off the suspension. Barron eligible, Malone eligible. So the part that Ed Cooley was most concerned about today, guys, is finally over, the starting lineups. Guys?
I think, Vin, we could stay with you through halftime just to talk about all the different changes you could have, but you did mention a couple of key pieces. Jamal Wilson is dressed, he is eligible to play tonight, but the leading scorer for Rhode Island will be coming off the bench. Coleman in the front court, traveling violation.
Well, so far for Rhode Island in this basketball game, they've gotten a rebound and forced a turnover right there with Gerard Coleman. They haven't been able to get a real good look at the basket. Providence College, pretty good team in terms of shot blocking. So Rhode Island will certainly want to get the ball inside, and certainly we'll see probably Andre Malone with just a little bit of rust on him right now.
The foul last trip down was on Cotton. Outerbridge with a turnaround, can't get it to go. And LaDante Hinton has a rebound for the Friars. Council coming off the 12 assist game, and Jonathan Holton is going to be called for the foul.
Well, really a foul there that you don't want to get out in the middle of the floor. That way Jonathan Holton stepped out in front of Vincent Council, made it fairly easy for the referee to call that one.
Looking for our first points. Bryce Cotton launches, can't hit. Offensive rebound for Providence. Back around to Coleman. And now Cotton will set things up. Cotton went for 34 in the win against Bryant. He can light it up, as can this man, Gerard Coleman. Sophomore out of Boston. The drop down inside. Chipley is fouled. This is the 124th meeting all time between Providence and URI, although the numbers could change a little bit. URI would like to count the first 2 games, which were exhibitions back in the 20s, but they were URI wins. So you can see why, even when you talk about the series history, there's grounds for debate between Providence and URI.
Well, it certainly is. And actually, Providence College in the last 5 games in Kingston, going all the way back to 1971, have not been able to win in Kingston. So it's been over 40 years since Providence College won a game down here.
Most recently, this is the 5th time these 2 teams have met at the Ryan Center. Rhode Island won the last 4 meetings here in this building.
Well, certainly 2 things that will help Rhode Island in this basketball game. One is rebounding the basketball. Providence College able to come up with a couple of offensive rebounds already, giving them a second chance opportunities. And, of course, defense for Rhode Island. So, thus far, doing a really nice job in the half-court defense.
Out of bounds, it's Rhode Island basketball. 2 turnovers for Ed Cooley's team here in the early going. Still looking for our first points after a couple of free throws were missed by Gipley. And now here comes URI. Mike Powell, the freshman, works the point. Surprised to see Buchanan out there. High ankle sprain, but able to work through it. Tough kid. Getting a chance here to start tonight. Turnover, the first for Rhode Island. Cotton to Council, so good at finishing, but the shot was challenged. And now back the other way. Malone will have an easy 2 to start his Rhode Island career.
Again, the defense for Rhode Island paying dividends for them in this game. Turnovers for Providence College. Rhode Island able to get out on the break. That time, nobody in Malone's face. Throws it down with 2.
Good defense for Rhode Island leads to the easy bucket for Malone. Another whistle out top. First we saw Holton, and now it's Outerbridge.
Well, Rhode Island doing a really nice job on the glass. That time, Mike Powell with really quick hands, points up the floor. Andre Malone, who's all alone, with a dunk.
Malone played 11 games as a sophomore at Auburn before transferring. Averaged nearly 12 points a game last year. Became eligible 24 hours at the end of the first semester here in Kingston, as did Billy Barron, who will come off the bench here tonight. Council, the floater, no good. Buchanan throws it over Malone. Good outside shooter. Three on the way is no good. URI crashing the offensive glass, and it's the freshman Jonathan Holton who puts it back.
If there is one advantage Rhode Island has had in statistical categories this year, it is offensive rebounding with Holton as well as Orion Outerbridge. That time Holton staying with it, but PC able to come back in transition. They like to push the ball down the floor, and they're going to attack this Rhode Island defense at every opportunity.
Gerard Coleman gets the first points for Providence. Took almost 4 minutes, which is saying something. This Rhode Island team giving up on average 79 points a game. Outerbridge, yes. The 2 for Orion Outerbridge, and Rhode Island certainly not playing like a 1-10 team here in the opening minutes against their rivals from Providence. Council with a good feed on the inside. Now kick back outside Coleman. Kadeem Batts turning. Outerbridge with the rebound.
Rhode Island doing just a super job right now.
Over the top, and Holton couldn't finish it. Powell. A lot of energy and excitement in this building. The roof would have come off on that one. Holton's going to try a long three, and it's long. Easy pickings here for Providence as Coleman goes on the run to the basket and the finish. Gerard Coleman averaging 16 points a game. He has 4.
But Rhode Island have to take the opportunities and the good shots for them. Unfortunately for Holton, thus far this season, he has not been a good three-point shooter. His effectiveness has been from 15 feet in.
Powell will try a 3 and make a 3. The freshman Mike Powell's been up and down, but when he's been up, he's been sky high. We saw that against Virginia Tech, and he gets on the board here against Providence. 9-4 Rams.
Well, Vincent Council has shown his quickness and been able to get inside, but Rhode Island contesting every single shot and doing an excellent job thus far on the defensive glass.
Cotton gets a screen from Kadeem Batts, playing his second game for Providence. He missed the first semester. Council beats it down to Batts, who was fouled. Trip to the free throw line coming up for Kadeem Batts, and after this timeout, it will be the Rhodey debut for Billy Barron. Stay with us. It's Providence, a 9-4 lead for Rhodey. Abu's going to take us inside the game.
Well, Rhode Island's done a nice job on the defensive end, but here's where they really have to improve. Providence College is going to set that high screen. There you see Orion Outerbridge coming out, but doesn't do a good enough job hedging out and getting back to his man. There you see Vincent Council able to make an easy pass to him on the inside. So Orion Outerbridge has to show out to help Mike Powell at the top, but he has to retreat back and find his man back in the middle of the floor so he doesn't receive that pass from Vincent Council.
Outerbridge been on a bit of a roller coaster himself. Numbers down over the last 3 games, 9 points, 5 rebounds last 3. And there he is, Billy Barron, a very familiar face when he starts shooting here. When he was 11 years old, when his dad got the job at URI, and the very definition of a gym rat here. And he is familiar with the Ryan Center, but for the first time wearing the Rhode Island colors on the court after transferring from Virginia. After 17 games a season ago, now eligible for the first time here tonight. It's been a struggle for Providence at the free throw line so far. So far 0 for 3 as a team on the season at 68%. Make it 0 for 4.
And we have seen Rhode Island take themselves out of some basketball games this season, shooting poorly. Right now, Providence College would do well to be able to make those free throws. This would be a very close game right now if they're able to do it.
First touch for Billy Barron. Brian Brooks has come on as well here for Rhode Island. Here is Jamal Wilson off the bench. did not play against Yale after a violation of team rules and misses a long jumper. 1 game benching for Jamal Wilson by head coach Jim Barron.
Well, so far Rhode Island's done a nice job on the offensive end also. That just was not a very good play by Jamal Wilson going one-on-one and taking that jump shot. Rhode Island's going to be able to get into the lane a little bit easier against Providence College than they may think. So I don't think he should settle for those outside jump shots. And he just got in the basketball game. Needs to get into the flow a little bit better than he did just then.
Barron gets whistled for the foul. That's his first personal. Already 5 team fouls on the Rams as Council ends the drought at the free throw line.
And as you mentioned, Billy Barron is certainly no stranger to the Ryan Center. He was taking long jump shots since he was 11 to 12 years old. But he also, first appearance in the Rhode Island uniform, but he also played 3 state championship games with Michigan High School. And he, in fact, was the MVP in 2 of those championships.
So the homecoming game for Barron. And a whistle away from the ball. I think it's Coleman who gets called. Yes, indeed. Coleman trying to keep up with Jamal Wilson. You just talked about Wilson trying to get into the flow here for Rhode Island. I mean, here's a guy who's averaging 17.5 points a game. That's 3rd in the Atlantic 10. Had 38 in the game against George Mason. What do you want to see from him here tonight to try to get back into the mix and lead this team?
Yeah, I think trying to figure out exactly how to get into the flow of the game. You have more scorers out there. You got more weapons. You don't really need to go one-on-one. That really means everybody else is just kind of standing around and watching. Rhode Island doesn't do very well when they do that. They got more weapons. Jamal Wilson just needs to play within the flow of the game.
Powell drops it to Brooks and an offensive foul called on Powell. Also with Malone into the mix, and now Wilson back after missing a game as you take a look at the foul, and Barron making his debut. There's going to be some communication issues, and I don't know if we saw it on that trip that there was a little standing around, a little confusion there, and it led to an offensive foul.
Right, and Mike Powell has to take care of that. Certainly Barron and Malone haven't had the practice time that the other players have, because obviously you give that practice time to the guys who are really playing.
Powell gets the steal. Feeds it off to Brooks, who throws it down.
Rhode Island has changed up how they do their pressure in the full court, and it pays dividends. It certainly did against Yale in the second half, getting them back in the game. That time, Mike Powell with the quick hands, and PC was a little bit nervous about turning the ball over against Rhode Island's pressure.
Coleman tries to get past Wilson to the basket. Count it, and the foul.
Yeah, Gerard Coleman and Vincent Council do a great job getting inside. There, Mike Powell just really doing a nice job anticipating that pass coming into Vincent Council. Council not really protecting very well. There, Gerard Coleman doing a great job. Great body control, up and under. Being able to make that shot and going to the line to try to make the three-point play.
Coleman, a 73% free throw shooter. That won't go down. 1 for 7 for the Friars at the free throw line here in the first half. Barron, outer bridge, long range, yes. And the pose to make sure everybody saw that he just made the 3.
A beautiful down screen that time to free Ryan Outerbridge around the perimeter. He hasn't taken a whole lot this season, but he's one of Rhode Island's best three-point shooters. So if they can free him up around the perimeter, that's going to create a lot of problems for Providence College on the defensive end.
Blocked shot by Outerbridge, and Barron fouled on his way to the basket. So on both ends for Ryan Outerbridge, knocking down the 3 and then the block shot at the other end. That's his 8th three-pointer this year.
Hi, I'm Matt D'Amato from Ephraim D'Amato Jewelers, here to
Rhode Island basketball for Barron. Through the hands of Buchanan. Hot past the handle. Turnover, Rhode Island. That is their second. 11:52 to go here in the first half. Take a timeout. Be back to the Ryan Center at a 7-point game. Here in the first half at the Ryan Center, Providence has won 6 in a row, their longest winning streak since 2004. What are your game keys for the Friars here, Abu?
Well, I think that the Providence College has to attack Rhode Island's defense, and they've been doing that thus far, getting inside the lane and also trying to get out in transition and defend the perimeter. We certainly expected Andre Malone was going to provide some scoring, and also Billy Barron, but we've seen Orion Alvarez be able to step out on the floor. And for Rhode Island, they simply have to want this more, and it will show up on the defensive end as it has thus far, and also control the paint. They've got to be able to rebound the ball effectively on the defensive as well as the offensive end. And try to keep this guy, Vincent Council, out of the lane.
Brice Kofani has come on for Providence wearing number 13. Council. Coleman. Coleman has 6 to pace the Friars. 2 more. 4 for 4 from the floor for Gerard Coleman, averaging 16 a game, coming off a game-high 20 in the win against New Hampshire last time out. 67-52 win for the Friars. Shengalia on for Rhode Island, can't miss, and look how quickly Coleman is out the other way. 5 for 5. He has 10 of the Friars, 11 points. Just like that, it's a 3-point game.
Well, they're not going to double down on Shengalia. That time took a wild left-handed shot, but if Rhode Island's going to get it inside, they need to be thinking a lot more inside out. Shengalia gets the basketball. He's got to be looking to hit open guys on the perimeter.
He'll get an offensive rebound here off the miss by Buchanan. Finding an open Jamal Wilson. Too strong. Shengalia fighting for another offensive rebound, but couldn't hold on to it. Providence basketball.
Well, that is the play that Shengalia needs to make when he gets the rebound and really look to kick it out. Providence College pretty good being able to block shots on the inside, and he's got to be able to kick that ball out to free perimeter shooters.
Last touch by Providence, I beg your pardon. So it's Rhode Island basketball on the baseline. Out to Ryan Brooks. Wilson. Shengalia was bumped on the block and took a tumble at the end of the play. I don't know if you want to take a charge if you're one of the cheerleaders there in the baseline, because that's 6'9" and 260 pounds from Tbilisi coming your way. Well done.
Showing some ball handling skills a little bit quicker than Bilal Dixon on the baseline. That won't happen often, but he did a nice job controlling the basketball.
Barron was stopped. Brooks feeling confident and was fouled. Well, Providence, we just praised their defense at the opening moments of this game and how that's been a big difference for them. But you can tell by Ed Cooley, you just fouled a jump shooter, not just any jump shooter, but a guy making just his 7th appearance this year.
Well, Ryan Brooks has only scored 2 points in this entire season, and he doesn't shoot the ball very well, beyond 10 or 12 feet. So there's no way you should foul him on that jump shot.
Free throw shooting has been pretty poor now on both sides. The two teams have combined 1 for 8 after that miss from Brooks, who came off a good performance against Yale. Got those 2 points, 7 rebounds, but it was a loss for Rhode Island, 68-65 on Sunday. 2 missed free throws there, and now Council will settle things down, which is something he does very well. UNH took a 2-point lead in the second half in the game at the dunk, and Council took over the game. And Providence didn't look back, eventually building up a 19-point lead. Shengalia with the foul. That's going to be team foul number 8 on the Rams with 10 minutes exactly to go here in the first half. Jonathan Holton will come back on for URI as Brooks goes to the bench.
Well, you certainly never want to come up with a foul away from the basketball. And Bilal Dixon, actually pretty good free throw shooter over the course of the season.
Makes the front end of the 1-1. He's now 13 of 15 from the free throw line. His numbers have been going down, especially when you think of Kadeem Batts getting put back into the rotation. You wonder what Dixon's minutes are going to look like going forward as Andre Malone comes back into the game. Buchanan sits down. Dixon played 3 minutes against UNH last time out, didn't score. You see his numbers for the season. 2 free throws here for Dixon, and it's a 1-point game. 6 straight points now for the Friars. Barron and Malone on the court together. Wilson calling for it, has yet to score. Feeds it to Malone. Malone with the turnaround was fouled.
And you see it's 6'5" and a very, very strong player. Malone getting down on the block that time, making a nice move and forcing Providence to foul him. And Jim Barron getting ready to put Ryan Outerbridge back in the basketball game. This would be, I think, his best unit on the floor, and I'd certainly think that he would hope to get some dividends from these guys.
Malone makes the first. There is Outerbridge in for Shingalia. Malone 6'5", 210 out of Atlanta. Averaged 26 minutes a game in his final days with Auburn. Now has 4 points as a member of the Rams. Pressure in the backcourt now. And the ball kicked out of bounds. You've got Holton, Malone, Barron, Wilson, and Outerbridge, the 5 on the floor. And as Abu just mentioned, it's a pretty good starting 5. A pretty good 5, I should say. Not the starting 5 here tonight, but a pretty good 5 on the floor.
Yeah, this is going to be the real test for Rhode Island. Being able to stop Providence College in transition off the press.
Good job.
And that time they do a nice job coming back in the rotation.
But Council makes something out of nothing. And a technical foul has been called on Jim Barron.
Well, Jim Barron very unhappy that time. I think he felt that as they came down the floor, there may have been a traveling violation by Cotton when he came down before Vincent Council came up with the loose ball and was able to make that shot in the lane.
Cotton at the free throw line. First in the Big East. So Barron with the tee. Cotton makes the first. First lead of the night for Providence College. The Rhode Island basketball on the baseline.
And that was a tough technical foul there. Providence College scoring the deuce and then coming up with another deuce with the technical free throws. So they go up by 2 now.
Barron. No basket. No basket, they say, before the shot. And Barron will go to the free throw line because that's the 7th team foul now on Providence. The foul called on Council, his second personal. You saw him protesting right after the call.
Yeah, Rhode Island fans may not be calling for the call of the continuation in college basketball, but it certainly could have been called a made basket and going to the free throw line for 1.
First point for Billy Barron as a member of the Rams.
You know, with the addition of Malone as well as Barron, it really does change the complexion of Rhode Island in the backcourt with both players who are really very, very strong, who can shoot the basketball. And then you wind up also with a Mike Powell who comes in the basketball game and just gives you a very different look in the backcourt for Rhode Island. So that should pay dividends for them as the season progresses.
We've watched Rhode Island closely, Abu, and the record doesn't lie. I don't know if it's because they're pumped up playing their rival in front of a full house or the infusion of the new players, but it's a different Rhode Island team here tonight as Holton finishes. Timeout called by Providence.
Well, Rhode Island is certainly coming to the challenge. Providence College goes out by 2 points, but Rhode Island once again with their half-court defense, and then you see Jonathan Holden doing a nice job running the floor. So Rhode Island, and as you said, there's intensity. They really want this basketball game, you know, and they're coming out and playing to win their game.
So 4 straight points scored by Rhode Island after Providence had gone on top for the first time, and this Friar team who's been able to handle things on the road. You think about their true road games this year, this is just their 3rd. They won at Fairfield. Fairfield played at UConn right down to the wire on Thursday. They won at South Carolina, so 2-0. Vincent Council still protesting that call a few moments ago that he got whistled for against defending Billy Barron. Here's Kadeem Batts set to put it in for Providence.
Yeah, Vince Council has 2 fouls in this game, so with 8:48 to go in the half, he certainly has to be careful, and he certainly does, because Rhode Island's been very aggressive on the offensive end.
And on the defensive end. They got a hand on it, but they couldn't hold on to the basketball. It will be Providence ball.
And once again, Rhode Island very aggressive on the full court pressure. You see Mike Powell again anticipating that. Holden just not able to come up with the basketball that time. But Rhode Island giving Providence College fits on this press.
Holden got his hand on that pass by Batts, so Batts is going to be pulled back across half court. You see Ed Cooley just get as far away from the inbound position as you can. Now Providence gets it across half court. Cotton with speed. Dixon, yes. Lyle Dixon's first field goal. He has 4. And it's a 1-point game.
And that's certainly the Achilles heel for a lot of presses in Rhode Island in particular, where if they get that ball in bounds and able to get down the floor, they create numbers on the other end.
Malone, 3 on the way. No good. And rebound controlled by Providence, a team that's +3 in rebounding margin this season. Foul called on the Rams. That's team foul number 10. So 2 free throws coming up, and that's the second personal on Malone.
Yeah, Rhode Island's been obviously much more aggressive in their defense. We saw a couple of fouls early in the first half that really were lapses by the big guys coming out and fouling in the middle of the floor. But so far, hasn't hurt them that much.
Council misses the free throw. Providence is now 5 for 12 at the free throw line tonight. Batts will sit down. 1 of 2 for Council. Council will sit down, remember, playing with 2 fouls. And Malone will head to the bench with his 2 fouls. Powell, Holton, Barron, Outerbridge, Wilson, the 5 on the floor right now for the Rams as Providence sets up in the zone. Aggressive zone. They come out to double Barron. That leaves Powell open. He can't hit. Cotton has it now for the Friars. Even at 20, less than 8 to play first half.
Providence trying to change the tempo a little bit. They went back into that zone. Looked like it was going to be a lazy one. They pop out and try to come up with the turnover against Rhode Island.
Cotton 3 is short. Barron with the rebound, and Holden again is ahead of the field for 2 more. That young man has shown at 6'9", 220. He's got a pretty good first step. He can get down the court quickly.
Yeah, he can once he wants to score that basketball.
Wilson touched it last, but we've seen a defensive intensity from Rhode Island that has been missing all season long. Holton, the freshman, 6 points to lead the Rams to a 2-point lead. Providence by 2 here in the first half. For each free throw made by the Running Rams this season at the Ryan Center, CVS Pharmacy will donate $25 to the Easter Seals of Rhode Island. CVS Pharmacy, proud partners of URI Athletics. So far, Rhode Island not shooting a great percentage from the field, 36%, but they've attempted 22 field goals, or 8 of 22 by comparison. Providence has shot well above at 46%, but they've only attempted 15 shots, 7 of 15.
And 0 for 2 from three-point land. Rhode Island's just playing excellent defense. Rhode Island's also getting a lot of open three-point shots that they have not been able to knock down. They've been moving the basketball extremely well on the offensive end. And one thing certainly that Jim Barron stresses for his team is sharing the basketball.
Quickly, Council scores out of a timeout.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for Mike Powell being able to play and guard Vincent Council, particularly going to the basket. Not going to be able to guard him one-on-one going down there without any help.
Tied at 22, approaching 7 minutes to play in the first half. Wilson to the basket, challenged, can't get it to go. Jamal Wilson still looking for his first points. Cotton the other way, gets contact, but he can't get the hoop. Let's check back in with Vin Parisi.
I'll tell you what, guys, one thing about the box score so far that Providence coach Ed Cooley is going to be happy with: only 2 3-point attempts for the Friars and 13 free throws taken thus far. This is going to be numbers 14 and 15. He's really been talking to his team about taking the ball to the basket, not settling for deep shots, drawing fouls on the opposition, and getting great dribble penetration. Eric?
Thank you very much, Vince. Shingalia coming back into the game as Outerbridge sits down. Cotton, best free throw shooter in the Big East. Even he's having his struggles. Makes that one. And it's a 1-point lead for Providence.
And he got down into the lane against Ryan Outerbridge. That was a really tough call against Outerbridge that time. He did what he could to back away from Cotton, who actually jumped into him. So that was a really tough call for Rhode Island.
Barron, long three. Short, and Shengelia gets whistled for the foul. So they'll walk down the other end and shoot free throws here. Second foul on Levin Shengelia.
Well, one thing that Shengelia is going to learn over the course of his career at URI is that if he's boxed out, he's not going to be able to jump over somebody's shoulder and be able to come up with the basketball. If he's going for a rebound over somebody's shoulder, he's going to get called for a foul every time.
2 free throws for Bilal Dixon. He gets the roll on the first. Ryan Brooks coming back into the game for Rhode Island as Shengelia will sit down. Dixon already with 5 after not scoring last time out. Make it 6. 10 for Coleman, 6 for Dixon, 6 for Council, and the lead is 3 for Providence, their largest lead of the game. Powell. Barron for Wilson. Wilson. Foul, attempting a three-pointer.
And Bilal Dixon just not paying attention, running into Jamal Wilson. 30% three-point shooter also. That's the one you put your hand up, yell hey, but you just don't jump into him, give him an opportunity to go to the free throw line to take 3 shots.
Dixon picks up his second personal foul, and Jamal Wilson, an 82% free throw shooter at the line, shooting 3, and he's on the board. So Jamal did not play against Yale, violation of team rules, but it was just a 1-game absence for the senior from Pennsylvania, who now has 176 points on the season. We say the grand total as he adds to it because in his first 3 years combined, he had 172 total points. That just underscores how important he's been to Rhode Island this year. They missed him against Yale, that's for sure. But out there today coming off the bench as Powell heads to the bench and Buchanan checks back in. Wilson makes Providence pay for fouling the jump shooter again. 3 free throws to tie the game at 25.
Rhode Island doing a nice job at the free throw line, but losing the battle at the free throw line simply because Providence College is just shooting so many of them. Their percentage is not very good, but their volume shooters at the free throw line right now.
Coleman 3 is short. Kofani floats in the air, too strong in the putback, and Brooks with the rebound. Barron in transition for Rhode Island. Puts his head down, determined to get to the basket. Can't score. Holton there having a good first half, isn't he?
Well,
8 points.
Holton is playing where he plays best, and that's inside the lane. Excellent offensive rebound along with Ryan Outerbridge. Does a nice job once again controlling that and slipping that one up back in the basket.
Council with Holton out there, a little mismatch here, and Holton stood his ground, got a block, couldn't get it the second time as Kofani gets his first 2.
Yeah, that matchup was destined for Rhode Island not to turn out very well, but Rhode Island did a nice job, had an opportunity to come up with the rebound, just couldn't do it.
Brooks gets it back, throws it outside for Wilson, calling for it. He'll try a 3. Now he's finding the range. It's a 2. Correction, a 2 for Jamal Wilson, his first field goal. He has 5, and the Rams are back on top by 2 with 5 minutes to play in the first.
Rhode Island getting wide open shots against the Providence College Friars in both the offense as well as in their zone defense. Rhode Island doing a nice job moving the ball around the perimeter.
Council can't get the roll. Dixon fighting for the rebound against Wilson. Barron got a hand on it. Holton couldn't pick it up. And thrown away by Providence. Are they going to call a foul? I think they are going to call a foul. Offensive foul called on Gerard Coleman, his second personal.
And T.J. Buchanan doing a great job that time. The mismatch, Providence College comes up with the loose ball, a 1-on-3 that time. Buchanan finds himself in the lane, nothing else to do except do the smart thing, take that offensive foul against Coleman coming in the middle.
You saw the look from Ed Cooley. He wasn't looking at the official. He was staring Coleman down coming down the floor, but now talking over the officials. And stoppage here for the moment. The official score, I think, wants the attention of the official. I did not see if they went to the monitor to see perhaps if Buchanan was in the restricted area under the basket. We're going to play on here. It'll be Rams basketball. Ed Cooley, Kofani talking.
Yeah, TJ Buchanan did a nice job there, at least a yard outside of the restricted area.
Big time follow, Ryan Brooks. Quickly back the other way. Providence shows the speed as Council. Well, Providence would be more than happy to get into a track meet, but the running Rams have shown tonight they're up to the challenge. They're up by 2.
Whenever Vincent Council has the basketball, it's very difficult to keep him out of the lane. It's a Rhode Island in the back lane there with Jonathan Holton and Ryan Brooks. They have to really be aware of that and help out.
Ryan Brooks, second chance here for Rhode Island. Buchanan. Providence switches to man-to-man. Barron trying to find a way to the basket. That's blocked by Batts. It will be Rhode Island basketball when we come back. Everyone making a contribution tonight for the Rams so far, including Jamal Wilson and Ryan Brooks. 2-point game. 29. This is a great time on the calendar to have this basketball game. A couple days before Christmas. The biggest game in town. Nick Carparelli Jr. from the Big East Conference, Senior Associate Commissioner, on hand to take the game in here tonight. And I look around, looks to be a pretty full house, packed into the rafters here at the Ryan Center, taking this matchup, 124th meeting all time between URI and the Providence College Friars. Your thoughts on how this game has played out? I go back to the thought we talked about before, that there seems to be a level of intensity on the defensive end and on the attacking end here for Rhode Island that's been missing all season long.
Well, one of the keys certainly was that Rhode Island really needed to want it more, and they certainly have come out showing that they really want to play this game and play it hard. This is a rivalry, and they came out with an intensity, as you mentioned, and it really has made a difference. First of all, on the defensive end, they haven't attacked the basket as much as they probably could.
Wilson for 3. Too strong.
Settling for 3-pointers like that.
You could have finished the thought right through. You didn't need me to tell you that they missed a 3. You know that.
Yeah, I really do think that they can go ahead and attack the basket against Providence College, get to the free throw line the way the PC has done against the Rhode Island, not settle for 3-point shots, which they're not very strong at.
Council, the look away, knocked away. Touched by Rhode Island last. It'll be Providence basketball. Just to clear up, we had that stoppage before that last timeout. They gave fouls to Wilson and Kofani. I guess they were mixing it up a little bit, so that was the call. So no shooting situation, just to finish that little bit of business. Barron to the bench. Ryan Outerbridge, I just watched him pat him on the knee. You got to imagine that the butterflies, the nervousness, everything for Billy Barron playing here for Rhode Island, waiting so long to become eligible, that he's trying so hard to contribute so much, and it's been a struggle here for him in the early going, trying to find some rhythm. He's 0 for 4 from the floor, 0 for 2 outside the 3-point line.
And the rust. I mean, he really hasn't played in game competition in quite some time. This is the first time, and your first game is against Providence College. I mean, certainly the intensity of this basketball game really does play on you. So you really just have to kind of relax, get yourself together. It certainly has shown in the jump shots that he's taken, where he really hasn't been close. Probably just a little bit too much adrenaline.
TJ Buchanan will take a seat. Council missed the first, made the second. 19 free throw attempts here so far for the Friars. They're 10 for 19. 14 fouls have been whistled on the Rams. Less than 3 minutes to play in the first half. Brooks. Back for Barron. Barron, the floater. That won't go down. Holton kept it alive, and good job by Brooks. Got a hand on it. It'll be Rhode Island basketball.
That was a good look by Billy Barron that time. Got into the lane. Nice soft shot to the rim. Just can't get anything to go down right now. And against this Providence College zone, I just don't see how this is a very good lineup for Rhode Island in the game.
Ron Gipley is whistled for the foul for Providence. Double bonus now for Rhode Island. Gipley picks up his first personal.
Billy Barron hasn't been able to knock down shots. Mike Powell not a very consistent outside shooter. Holton certainly only shooting about 14% from outside, and Ryan Brooks not a very good shooter from the outside. So surprised. And Jamal Wilson only a 30% shooter from three-point land. So not a very good shooting team.
What are you trying to tell me?
I'm trying to tell you we need to get in the game.
You want to see the three-pointers?
Because they need some shooters out there, buddy.
Get me in the game, that 26% they shoot in the team will look a whole lot better than what I could put up for you. That's for sure. Less than 2.5 to play in a 1-point game first half. Council drops it to Batts on the baseline for 2. Dean Batts gets his first point, scored 9 in his season debut against UNH. And Providence back on top by 1.
Yeah, and an adjustment Rhode Island has to make in the second half is playing that pick and roll a little bit better. They are not doing a good job controlling Vincent Council coming around the screen. He just got into the lane, able to make an easy pass down the baseline.
Powell back for Barron. Barron drops it for Brooks. Brooks can't hit. Coleman off and running, has it knocked away, picked up by Powell. Holton back the other way. Who else? Can't put it down. Somehow that ball almost got shot up to the ceiling. And Holton's going to go to the free throw line.
Well, great pass to Holton. He just happens to go off on the wrong foot. Ryan Brooks does a nice job after that air ball he shot on the other end. Mike Powell, nice pass to Holton. He goes up on the wrong foot, just not able to elevate. That's the reason why he wasn't able to get that dunk.
So Holton at the line. Now with 9 points, had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals against Yale. His career best, 20 in the lone win for Rhode Island this year against Hofstra. Jonathan into double figures with 10. Rhode Island back in front by 1. Less than 2 to play here in the first half.
And Rhode Island makes a decision. I thought they would have changed defense a little bit more in this first half. Going to challenge Providence College at least to make some shots on the outside, which they are not very good three-point shooters with the exception of Mr. Cotton.
10 on the shot clock as Council has it. Kick back out top to Coleman. Coleman lost the handle. Barron has it, expecting Powell to be up there, but Cotton read it and took it back away from Providence. Council running out of room on the baseline. Batts is fouled.
A lost opportunity for Rhode Island that time, coming up with the steal. Providence College doing a nice job again, getting inside the lane. Rhode Island defending pretty well, just couldn't come up with enough blocks that time.
Coming up at halftime, I'll have a conversation with Vin Parisi about this game and taking a look down the road. We talk about the future too, the immediate future. What's going on in the next 5 games for these 2 teams? And when you take a look at the Providence schedule, they head into Big East play after today. Rhode Island still has 3 non-conference games to go, but we'll take a look at what's ahead and how important it will be for Providence to keep this momentum going once they begin conference play, because when you take a look at the schedule, you've got Syracuse twice in 10 days before the 15th of January. Syracuse right now, of course, the #1 team in the country. 33 all, less than a minute to go. Barron back for Wilson. Baseline Brooks. Brooks getting a lot of playing time. Wilson, double pump. No good. Grabbed by Coleman. Council to the basket. And a goaltending call. I'm ready to get the stopwatch out here to see how quickly Providence turns a miss into a shot on the other end, because it is quick.
Well, they have gotten the ball down very quickly. That's the one thing Ed Cooley was really surprised about. when he took over this Providence College coaching job, just how quick his players were in transition, and they have really exploited Rhode Island tonight, getting down the floor.
Timeout called by Rhode Island with 28 seconds to go here in the first half. Rhode Island not at 100% here tonight. Nikola Milosevic out of the lineup. He scored 25 points, a career high against Yale on 6 of 10 shooting, made 11 free throws, but since that game, turns out he has a broken hand and he's out indefinitely. And that's a huge loss because we talk about a guy who could shoot the three, but he had taken his game to the basket more in recent weeks and was finding great success.
No doubt about that. He's a very surprising player when he gets inside the lane. He is 6'7", and he's able to shoot the ball with both hands, has nice control on the inside. He's developed a little bit more strength, so getting in there, he's able to not make those shots and get fouled as well. So he really was rounding out his game and getting inside the lane, and that's something that Rhode Island needs tonight. They're not doing a very good job penetrating inside that lane. They're not looking to split right now this zone defense and kick it back out for jump shots. They're just not doing a very good job of that right now.
Shot clock is off. Rhode Island holding for a final shot, down by 2 as Powell. Dominique McCoy has come on for the first time for Rhode Island to set a screen here for Powell. Now to Barron. Barron feeds it inside to Wilson, who can't throw it down. Gets the rebound, hooks it up. That won't go. And that's the end of the first half. Rhode Island looking for the exclamation point to end the half. Could not get it, and as a result, Providence on top 35-33 at halftime. Vin Parisi with Jim Barron.
Coach, what did you see there in the first half you're going to talk to the guys about?
No, we gave them too many fouls. I mean, we're fouling everything. They took a lot of foul shots, and we got to be smarter with that. That's why I got a technical foul. But we took a charge, and it wasn't called. But we got to play smarter.
What about offensively?
Offensively, we got to take better shots, and we got to get offensive rebounds.
Good luck in the
second half.
Guys?
Providence attempted 21 free throws in the first half, made 11 of the 21. It's a 2-point game here at the break. Vin and I will have a conversation about this game and about what's coming up for Rhode Island and Providence in the weeks ahead. Did have 11 offensive rebounds, 11 of their 20 total. It's Providence basketball to start the second half.
And what really made a difference to Rhode Island in that first half is the fact they were able to turn Providence College over 8 times, and they converted those into baskets.
Make it 9 for the game as Powell comes away over the top to Outerbridge. Timing just wasn't there, and it's last touch by Rhode Island.
Wow. Both Outerbridge and Holt had opportunities to be able to grab that basketball, put it in the basket. A missed opportunity on the alley-oop. You're not going to get very many of those.
Outerbridge, Holton, Malone, Powell, Buchanan, the 5 on the floor for Rhode Island. 2 trips, 2 turnovers for Providence. Here's Outerbridge with Council getting back. Outerbridge with the turnaround. Couldn't get it. Powell hanging in the air. Holton tipping it around. Sloppy start for Rhode Island at the basket. Coleman back the other way. Fighting on the inside and fighting hard is LaDante Henton, who is held scoreless in the first half. Just 13 points a game, I should say. He averages 13 points a game, but just 11 minutes in the first half. Did not attempt a shot.
Well, the effort there by both teams, neither one of them being able to come up with anything.
Powell with a nifty little take. That won't go down. And a foul called on Providence. No, perhaps they're saying that Henton had the basketball, was on the baseline. Kofani is going to come in. Well, Rhode Island's been at the rim here, Abu, but they've been unable to do anything with it.
Well, it looks like somebody changed the rims at halftime. They're much smaller than they were in the first half. But Rhode Island attacking the glass, doing a nice job on the defensive end. A lot of effort, but nothing to show for it thus far.
Buchanan to Malone, open 3 on the way. That's no good. Vincent Council has him. He's running. 1 second, 2, 3, or less. Council is that quick. 13 points to lead all scorers.
Well, that's usually money for Malone and Rhode Island. A lot of open shots they've had in this game and not able to knock them down. Malone is such a very, very good shooter from three-point land last year when he played at Auburn, 44%. So those are shots that he normally would make.
Holton tries to feed it inside, tipped away, turnover. Council the other way again. The acceleration, but Holton gets back the freshman, and a foul called on Kofani.
Obviously, nice time by Rhode Island that time, getting back against Council. You see, Council does a nice job getting that rebound, getting down the floor so very, very quickly. Taking that shot up over Mike Powell is just too small to be able to guard him once he gets in the hole like that.
Council having a little conversation with the Rhode Island bench. Malone for Outerbridge. Outerbridge will try a three. That's no good. Fight for the rebound. Malone and Coleman get tied up. Possession arrow, URI.
Rhode Island with a lot of opportunities to be able to score, not able to knock anything down. This is an extremely important possession for them. They really need to come up with the basket right now so Providence College does not wind up getting out ahead.
After missing their first 5 field goal attempts of the second half, Outerbridge scores. He has 7.
I really think they have to look for Outerbridge much more down on the block. He elevates so very, very high. Very difficult for anybody to block that shot down there. And he really is quite proficient with that little jump hook.
Bryce Cotton, he can't hit. Kofani with the offensive rebound, and a second chance here for the Friars, up by 2. Kofani to the basket. He was fouled. Here's how Outerbridge scored a moment ago.
Well, they got the ball right to him on the block. They did a nice job blocking out. Nice little jump hook. He thinks he got fouled there that time. But I think, Rhode Island can really exploit Outerbridge on the inside because that little jump hook is really very, very good. He elevates so high. Really difficult to block that shot.
2 free throws for Kofani. 3 fouls on Jonathan Holton. Substitution is Brice Kofani makes both free throws, much to the delight of head coach Ed Cooley for the other effort he gives. Great energy player, great at blocking shots. He checks out. Kavim Batts has come on. Malone, turnaround, too strong. Holton is there on the offensive glass. Took it away from Cotton. Contact, count the basket, and a trip to the free throw line.
Well, Jonathan Holton, the sponge, showing exactly how he got that nickname. Doing a great job on the offensive glass. Once again, there's Malone, not able to make that shot, but Holton doing a great job on the inside, fighting off a couple Providence College players. This is where this young man can really be effective for Rhode Island. Not along that three-point line where he's been extremely ineffective.
You see the numbers for the freshman: 12 points, 6 boards, 3 blocks. Averaging 9 points a game, 4th on the team in scoring. Having a very solid freshman season. Finishes the 3-point play, and it's a 1-point game. Jamal Wilson has come back on for Rhode Island, replacing Malone. Council tied up by Buchanan. Council back after it. No reset on the shot clock. Tipped into the backcourt. Buchanan giving chase. 12 to shoot. Council, 3 on the way, is short. The putback is good from Batts.
Yeah, Batts did a nice job sliding inside the Rhode Island interior defense, coming up with that offensive rebound. That was one thing that Coach Cooley said they needed to do, is rebound the ball more effectively. If you're able to do it on the offensive end, it also translates into baskets.
Holman with a good step to the basket, and Batts gets called for the foul. That will get us to our 16-minute timeout here in the second half. Providence with a 3-point lead here at the Ryan Center. At the free throw line is Jonathan Holton, who makes the first. Again, Holton's career best came in the lone win for Rhode Island. They beat Hofstra. He had 20 in that game. He's leading Rhode Island tonight with 15. Ryan Brooks will come on as Holton checks out. Brooks saw extended run in the first half. 4 points, 3 rebounds in 11 minutes.
Did a nice job, as certainly did Jonathan Holton thus far in this first half, coming out after just 4 minutes. Billy Barron back in the basketball game, not effective in the first half at all. Could not make a shot on the inside. Got in on the outside, got inside, not able to make any shots either.
Providence scores with 8 on the shot clock as Batts now has 7. So 9 in his first game against UNH, 7 now tonight at Rhode Island for Kadeem Batts. Outerbridge catches and turns. 1 and done for Rhode Island after the jump shot, and Council off the miss. A little hesitation. Got bumped around. Cotton's 3 is good. First points of the second half for Cotton. He has 6 for the game. A 45% three-point shooter. First on the team, and Providence making some noise. 6-point lead. Wilson will try a jumper. That's no good. A couple of jump shots here for Rhode Island have come up empty. Now Providence ready to go on a run. Fed inside. That won't go. Brooks gets the block on the follow attempt by Hinton. It'll be Providence basketball.
Well, Providence College in a little bit of a run right now, and certainly have the feel for this game. Rhode Island still not able to make any shots. But getting on the inside, not able to make that. Ryan Brooks comes from behind, able to block that shot, save Rhode Island. Gives him an opportunity.
Too easy for Cotton. Wide open on the baseline, out of bounds play. Knocks down the 3. Rhode Island has to start taking timeout here, and Jim Barron will indeed call a timeout. You can see Ed Cooley, how pumped up he is, and the Providence fans that have come here to the Ryan Center making some noise for the first time as Providence has their largest lead of the night. They're up by 9. It's an 8-0 run for the Friars. 14:21 to go in the second half. Bryce Cotton heating up for the Friars. They're up by 9. Bryce Cotton, he's come on with back-to-back three-pointers to put Providence on top by 9.
Well, you see inside out, Vincent Council able to get on the inside, kick it back out to Bryce Cotton, the one player on Providence College that you could not allow to be able to get set and shoot three-point shots. That's Bryce Cotton. He very rarely shoots anywhere else on the floor. Didn't make any three-pointers in that first half, but when you leave him open that way, he is going to knock him down and get a rhythm.
For more on Cotton, here's Vin.
Yeah, guys, you know, as one of the best three-point shooters in the Big East, Ed Cooley still felt Bryce Cotton wasn't truly a volume shooter up until 2 weeks ago when he had his career high of 34 points against Bryant. Cotton was still turning down perimeter shots after makes. Now he's under strict orders from the coaching staff. When you have the hot hand, do not turn down perimeter shots. We're seeing that more and more this season.
Barron with the dish to Outerbridge in the finish. Rhode Island needed that out of the timeout to bring it to a 7-point game.
Well, they certainly did, as opposed to settling for a shot on the outside. Billy Barron does a great job getting on the inside and getting that dish down to Ryan Outerbridge. So with Billy Barron with his strength and ability to be able to handle the basketball, able to get on the inside.
Cotton in and out. Fight for the rebound, and a foul called on Malone, who is fighting on the inside against Gerard Coleman. Barron's been unable to hit from the field, but this is a way to get into a rhythm.
Barron able to turn the corner that time. Batts tries to get in there to take that offensive foul. Didn't get the call. Ryan Outerbridge on the baseline for the dunk.
Third foul on Malone, and now a foul called on Providence, setting a screen. Batts picks up the foul.
Well, they know they've got Bryce Cotton, really going right now with the three-point shot. So just a little aggressive, trying to set the screen to get him open for that jump shot in the corner.
Powell calls it out. Brooks, Outerbridge, Barron, Powell to the basket. Malone also on the floor for Rhode Island, but explosiveness from the freshman.
Well, you can see that from this angle, Eric. It looks like Route 95 that opened up with Mike Powell that time. They played him on his left. Mike Powell able to handle the basketball with his right.
Well, Council thought he was going to get a foul call. Did not. He's still on the deck looking for the foul. Numbers here for Rhode Island, but a turnover by the Rams. And meanwhile, back on the other end, Council never made it across half court. 15 for Vincent.
Oh, that time just a bad pass that time with Rhode Island coming down the floor, giving Providence College a really easy basket going back down.
Barron is fouled on his way to the basket. Council gets whistled for the foul, and he's hot.
And Billy Barron not able to shoot anything from the outside. Puts the ball on the floor, gets inside, trying to get to the free throw line, trying to get, and obviously got that foul on Vincent Council that time.
So Barron to the stripe, had 2 free throws in the first half. Council picked up his 3rd personal foul, so 3 on Malone, 3 on Council. Barron can't hit. Kofani is going to come back on for Bats. Second free throw to come here for Barron. One of 2 for Billy Barron. He has 3. Rhode Island will drop back in a 6-point game. Brice Kofani. Foul is going to be called on Powell. Fouls starting to pile up again for Rhode Island. Is not in as much foul trouble as they were in the first half. That's just the 13th foul for the Rams. Quick catch and shoot by Henton, who has been very quiet here tonight. A guy who averages 13.5 a game, his first 2 points.
Well, that time a mental lapse on the defensive end for Rhode Island around Outerbridge, just not looking, paying attention to that basketball coming in. They throw it right over his head for an easy deuce on the in the middle of the floor.
Barron drops it back to Brooks. Now to Powell. Powell, the floater, short. Rebound for Kofani. Council with speed across half court. Drops it down inside. And the 2 put in from LaDontae Hinton. What was a 2-point Providence lead at halftime is a 10-point Providence lead here at the Ryan Center, Kingston, Rhode Island. Aaron Fried, Abu Bakr, and our crew here bringing you URI and PC. And the Rams in trouble at the moment as Providence is on the run again.
You know, whenever Vincent Council has the basketball, you have to be aware on the back line and be ready to step up to make him give that basketball up sooner. That time, neither Brooks nor Ryan Outerbridge helped out Mike Powell in the backcourt.
Timeout called by Rhode Island as the Rams try to slow things down. It's a 12-point Providence lead.
Well, Rhode Island has not been able to make shots, turning the basketball over, and Providence College every opportunity to get the ball down the floor, and Rhode Island just not quick enough in their transition defense. Here, Vincent Council does a nice job. Orion Outerbridge not paying attention once again, kind of falling asleep the last 2 plays. Doesn't help his guy out. They're able to get an easy shot on the baseline.
And Providence has been able to go on a run here. Friars are now shooting 47% from the floor. Rhode Island at 30%. Remember, it was a slow start for the Rams. They were in the paint, 0 for 5 to start the half before Outerbridge scored. Saw a couple of jumpers that led to runouts the other way for Providence, and this is what Ed Cooley's team has done. They have shown they are a very quick team. They can score quickly in transition, and we've seen some hoops here for Providence to stretch it out here in that manner to a 12-point game.
Yeah, not only do you have to come out and be ready to play a great game physically, but also mentally. You cannot have any lapses because they will leave the baskets.
Powell knocks down a 3-pointer. Rhode Island certainly needed that. Brings it down to a 9-point game.
And I would have to say Mike Powell in this basketball game, he has come out to play. He's done a nice job on the floor for Rhode Island in this game.
Barron goes down, no call. Outerbridge has it for Rhode Island, and the Rams have a chance here to run back on the Friars. 9-point game, now with 11 minutes to go, second half.
It is going to take a little work for Rhode Island to be able to come back. It's a large deficit right now. Plenty of time left to go in this basketball game. Do what you have to do. Get inside the lane, take good shots, and also obviously play very, very good defense.
Powell, a little fadeaway, nothing there. Fighting for it on the glass, Holton and Outerbridge. And last touch by Rhode Island. It'll be Providence basketball when we come back. 10:34 to go. Second half here at the Ryan Center. Providence looking for their 7th consecutive win. First points for Andre Malone as Ernie D in the house. Beltone Hearing Aid Centers helping the world hear better since 1940. Malone and Barron making their debuts here tonight. It's been a struggle. Barron 0 for 5 from the floor. Malone 1 for 6 from the floor. Malone's only field goal. That dunk you saw a moment ago. Fourth foul now on Holton. So the freshman in trouble. That will get Dominique McCoy off the bench and into the game. Holton has played so well. 15 points on 5 of 10 shooting. Also has 6 rebounds, but now with 4 fouls.
Yeah, and the contact there in the middle of the floor looked somewhat inadvertent. I don't think the play wasn't disturbed in any way, shape, or form. Player was not hampered dribbling the ball down the floor. I just don't think that was a very good call to make.
The feed inside as Providence runs their offense, and it leads to a layup for Henry. 6 points all in the second half for the freshman from Lansing, Michigan. Powell the feed to Outerbridge. Outerbridge turnaround, yes. That looks like a tough shot, but if you've been watching URI through the years, you know that's his shot. The turnaround on the baseline.
Well, he had a little space between his man that time and got really balanced and just took his time and took that shot. That's a good shot for Ryan Outerbridge, and they certainly need that and much more.
Providence 6 of their last 9. The miss from Cotton. Henton with the offensive rebound, and now Council will settle things down. Cotton reaching in to knock it away. Jamal Wilson. Only for the moment, though. It's grabbed by Coleman. Less than 10 minutes to play in a 9-point game. Council and a foul called on Kafani. Kafani got tangled up at the top. Billy Barron taking the brunt of that contact as Kafani picks up his 3rd personal foul. That's 16 fouls now on the Friars.
That time, you're really an unforced error in terms of setting that screen, but Rhode Island, if they're going to get back in this game, it's going to have to happen at the defensive end in terms of them playing very good half-court defense, but also rebounding the basketball. Providence College has come out with a vengeance, being able to get offensive rebounds and get second chance opportunities.
Billy Barron is checked out. Outerbridge in the corner needs help. Buchanan on the floor for Rhodey. Less than 9 to play. Outerbridge will try a 3. Way too strong. And Jamal Wilson, maybe a little contact as he knocked it away, but it's Providence that comes away. 3 on 1. Coleman the finish. Timeout called by the Friars.
Well, Providence College comes down in the fast break, but watch down the floor. You see the big fella pushing Mike Powell out of the way, Kafani, and he was complaining that was an illegal screen, and he certainly may have a case there.
Coleman's the one who puts it down. He has 12, and it's an 11-point lead now for the Friars with 8:38 to go. Providence looking for their 7th consecutive win.
We've seen a lot of jump shots by Rhode Island in this second half. That's not going to get it done coming back from this 11-point deficit right now. They really need to take their opportunities to get the ball inside the lane, force Providence College to play defense, and then also when you take the ball on the inside, you force people to switch. It's much easier to rebound offensively as well. So Rhode Island's got to do a better job. They're not shooting the ball very well from the outside. You've got to do what you can to penetrate, get that ball on the inside. That's where you're going to get your basket.
Rhode Island 3 of 15 outside the 3-point line. They have done a good job taking care of the basketball, and now Providence back the other way.
Yeah, we've seen some very, very poor passes in the second half. That time Mike Powell, but also you got to create and make a better target for him to be able to get the ball inside. You can't allow a player to come over your back and come up with that steal.
Providence gives it right back, so it'll be a Rhode Island basketball. Holton back into the game with the 4 fouls, so he doesn't sit very long. Just 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Game hanging in the balance. They need one of their better players on the floor right now, and Holton has been one of the best tonight. Outerbridge turnaround, no good. Rebound, Kafani. The run out for Coleman. The easy finish. tries to answer back with speed the other way. Wilson comes and gets the tip ball, but it's Coleman who comes in, and Wilson gets called for the foul.
Well, right now, Providence College, they really want it much more than Rhode Island does. They're quick into the basketball. They're coming up with all the loose balls as well.
Timeout on the floor. 13-point game. Providence on top. It's the largest lead for the Friars.
They let Bryce Cotton open for a couple jump shots. He's the guy. You certainly don't want to do that. And once again, that transition defense, Rhode Island just has to get better to stop Vincent Council and the rest of the Providence College Friars from getting out for easy layups.
Let's see who wins this 4-minute segment here leading up to the next media timeout. We're inside of 8 minutes now with 7.5 to play. 13-point lead for Providence. The lob over the top. Kafani throws it down. It was Council with the assist.
Well, I mean, how does that happen? You got Jonathan Holton and Orion Outerbridge both on that side playing the back line, and the guy gets an alley-oop right over your head.
Outerbridge, turn around, knocks that down. 13 points for Orion Outerbridge. Council in the front court, but now Rhode Island will bring it back, settle things down. Council drops it back. The freshman will try a three. Too strong. Outerbridge goes up for the rebound. Barron up to Wilson. Wilson, line drive three. Council has it. 6.5 to play.
Well, Rhode Island did a really nice job getting the ball down the floor, but once again, spotting up with three-point shots is not going to get you back in this basketball game. You're not going to win it that way. You really have to, go ahead and attack the basket. That time, Jamal Wilson settled for the shot that was there, as opposed to putting the pressure on the Providence College defense.
Henton can't make a jumper. The rebound for Billy Barron. Barron to Buchanan. Buchanan blocked. Fight for the rebound. Last touch by Providence. It'll be Rhode Island basketball. Let's take a look at our Dunkin' Donuts dunk of the game. Hurry into Dunkin' Donuts today for a new mint hot chocolate. It's the cool mint taste that warms you up. Try one today. Rhodey runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Less than 6 minutes to play. Providence on top, 65-52. Barron will try a long three, misses everything, and it has not been the debut that Billy Barron hoped for. Now 0 for 6 from the floor, and the Providence fans here at the Ryan Center letting him hear it. Council. Cross half court. Has 5 assists here in the second half. Vin Parisi talked to Ed Cooley right before the start of the second half. They talked about sharing the basketball. Cotton can't get it to go. Tipped and a foul called as Kafani gets hit. But it's one thing Providence has done well. They have found that open man. We saw it when Cotton got hot. We've seen it with Kafani above the rim. Getting guys involved, making that extra pass a boot.
Yeah, and they've done a nice job with that. Rhode Island has let down on the defensive end in the half court. They found those open spots, but they just stuck to their knitting. They really put the pressure on Rhode Island, continued to put the pressure on the defense. Said one of their keys was they wanted to be able to attack Rhode Island's defense. They've done a great job of that, both in transition as well as now in the half court.
Powell comes back in for Rhode Island. Malone, Powell, Barron, Outerbridge, Holton, the 5 on the floor for the Rams. Council feeds it off to Coleman. Coleman has 14, 15 for Council, and a foul called on Malone. That will be his 4th.
And right now, the execution for Providence College and their quickness just a little bit too much for Rhode Island in this second half. Always one step behind, it seems, behind Providence College right now.
I think a lot of teams, even if you project forward to the Big East schedule, a lot of teams are going to have trouble keeping up with Providence. Are you impressed with the speed you have seen from Ed Cooley's team. Remember, these are players he's inherited here in his first year, and it seems like he's getting the most out of them.
Yeah, pretty good. And they're young players, too, so he's going to have most of these guys back next year. You know, speed kills. And it certainly has happened for Rhode Island. Where they will get hurt a little bit, I think, is with their rebounding on the inside, you know, playing some of the other bigger teams in the Big East. But I tell you, if you don't put your track shoes on, you're going to have a lot of problems with this team.
Powell to the basket is fouled. So Mike Powell getting aggressive, the 5'11" freshman out of Chicago, to the hoop, and he'll have a chance at the free throw line. With 4:52 to go, Council picks up his 4th personal foul. And again, as we look ahead for these two teams, that will be an area of concern, certainly for Providence. They don't have a lot of depth.
No, they don't.
They have a very tight rotation. They have guys playing tons of minutes, and Council is leading the Big East in minutes played this season at 37.4 minutes a game. He'll sit down now with the 4 fouls, but you've got guys playing a ton of minutes, not very deep.
Well, you got guys playing over 4 guys playing over 35 minutes a game. I mean, that's incredible. But, you know, certainly if they get into foul trouble, that's what winds up being a difficulty for them. But Rhode Island didn't recognize that through the whole game and continued to attack them. They had a lot of fouls in that first half, and they continued to attack them. They would have gotten some guys in foul trouble and been able to get to the free throw line themselves, but they started settling for a lot of shots on the outside. I say, with the exception of Billy Barron, who really tried to force the action and drive to the basket.
Coleman can't hit. Battle for the rebound. Anthony Malhoit is on for Rhode Island. He got a hand in there, and now the Rams are running with numbers. Powell with the pull-up is good. Mike Powell now with 11 points. You know, Island's trying to hang around, down by 12. And it will be Providence basketball. Let's check in with Vin.
I'll tell you what, guys, this has been the theme for Providence College throughout the month of December. Turn it up a notch in the second half. They've been a very, very good second half team in close games at the half, really taking it to another level during the last 20 minutes. And there might be a combination of things. Ed Cooley has thought at times it's guys still getting used to the system and getting those minutes under their belt. Some of these guys, they play so many minutes, he feels sometimes they need 15, 20 minutes under their belt. I don't know about you guys. I think there's another theory here. I think that Ed Cooley's halftime talks might be a little bit more spirited than the pregame talks. What do you guys think?
First free throw from Cotton is good. Whatever works. They've been good at protecting leads, too. They're 8-0 this season when leading at halftime. On their way to a 10-2 record as Malhoit checks out. Then we can check to see if any of the paint peeled off the walls at halftime. There's a 2-point Providence lead.
Well, we did see that Ed Cooley certainly has the ability to get into his players' faces and make emphatic points, and he really has done a great job this season, really determining, making this team a heck of a lot more disciplined, a lot tougher, and they showed that in this second half.
Malone, shot challenge by Henton, grabbed by Kafani, and a timeout called by Providence. 3:48 to go here in the second half in a 14-point game as Providence tries to pick up their first win in the Ryan Center in 5 tries. Let's take a look at the Muse Tavern What's on Tap upcoming schedule, and here's what's ahead for Rhode Island. They've got James Madison at the UCF Holiday Classic in Orlando. Stetson and UCF also in that field, and then after the new year, trip to Connie Forum to take on Boston College January 2nd before their A-10 opener here at the Ryan Center January 7th. Then it's at George Washington, a team that's been struggling. They have a new head coach in Michael Lonergan. And then Duquesne here January 14th. So still 3 non-conference games, including a holiday tournament for Jim Barron's team to work through before getting into the most important part of the season, and that's conference play. And frankly, they could use this game and those 3 non-conference games to get these players, Malone and Barron, get their legs back under them, work out a rotation, work out a combination that's best for URI.
Absolutely, and they get to be a little bit more comfortable playing over the course of a few games. And also thought that, for example, Anthony Malhoit would have played a little bit more in this game since he's such a good defensive player.
Timeout on the floor, 14-point game, second half, Providence on top. with Al Skinner at URI for a year. Providence basketball out of the timeout. Friars with a strong second half. They're up by 2 at halftime. Providence has turned the ball over 14 times tonight. URI with 9 turnovers. Now 5 on the shot clock. Down to 3. Cotton. Tough shot for 2.
The little Bryce Cotton gets into the lane. Takes advantage of Mike Powell as well as a little up fake right there. Nice little shot. Soft shot high up in the air.
Knocked away. And now numbers back the other way. Cotton calls for it in a challenge by Buchanan. And the flagrant foul is going to be called on Buchanan.
Well, here you see hitting coming down the floor. TJ Buchanan hits it with the body first before he goes after the ball.
There'll be a flagrant 1 called on Buchanan. So 2 free throws and the ball for Providence.
And I think TJ Buchanan was also a little upset. Thought he got fouled around the half-court line with a very aggressive play from Providence College. Wasn't called. Came down, made sure that he didn't get the easy deuce.
Profani at the free throw line. He makes the first. Couple of free throws for Priest Kofani. He's had a good all-around game.
TJ just a really hard player, very strong.
7 points, 10 rebounds for Kofani. Providence basketball after the flagrant 1. Less than 3 minutes to play as the Friars have stretched it out to an 18-point lead. Coleman. Out of counsel. No need to rush here for Providence as Outerbridge gets whistled. Nope. Counsel stepped on the baseline. So it's a turnover for Providence, number 15 for the Friars. Mike Powell. 2.5 to play. Outerbridge drops it outside. Barron. Barron to the basket. Rejected by Kofani. 3-pointer follow-up by Wilson off the mark, and Holton is fouled out.
And yeah, sometimes when it goes bad, it goes really bad. Not a good debut for Billy Barron. He had a shot in the corner. He hasn't shot the ball very well. He gave that up, got into the lane, got it rejected real hard. And Jonathan Holton, the prize for him was coming up with this final foul in his basketball game.
So Holton finishes with 15 points, 6 rebounds. He was 5 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Picked up that 4th foul with 10:31 to go in the second half. It gave Jim Barron some minutes, but in the end, his evening comes to an early end. Heading to the free throw line will be LaDante Henton. Kofani showing what kind of shot blocker he is. Came in with 22 to lead the team in that category. Had 7 against Boston College.
And Providence College came out in the second half and just bulldozed Rhode Island completely. They just dominated in every facet of the game. And of course with Rhode Island, they made a few mistakes. And certainly when you see that happen and the team is only 1-10 and they will now be 1-11, at some point if that begins to happen, you begin to think, gosh, it's happening again, and we won't be able to pull this game out. And that just takes all the wind out of your sails. So this is a tough loss for them. It's a game that's very important for them to come out and play well. But once again, they just got totally manhandled in the second half.
Coleman to the basket for 2 more. Gerard Coleman following up his 20-point effort against UNH with 16 here tonight. His career best 21 against Southern this season. Three-pointer is no good. Last touch by Rhode Island. It'll be Providence basketball.
And on that last play for Rhode Island on the defensive end, I think you just saw the white flag go up.
Yeah. They
opened up the lane, not much intensity on the defense. And that long three-point shot by Orion Outerbridge, quick on the trigger.
Well, I know the record says now 1-11, and the losing streak's going to stretch to 8. But I think if anybody's going to be waving the white flag here, it's going to be looked at, broken down on film, because everything's open on a 1-11 team. Minutes are wide open, starting positions, we've seen it. And an easy run out. And the little man gets up. Bryce Cotton gets up for the two-hand throwdown. And a whistle gives Providence a chance to go to their bench. They'll bring in Ted Bancroft and Chris Carter.
Well, see, I mean, this is really an exclamation point on how this entire second half is gone. Providence College really rolling over Rhode Island. And in this basketball game, as I mentioned before, you have to want it, more than the other team. And in this particular instance, maybe that will that Rhode Island had in that first half just began to break down when they were being overtaken by just a superior team, quickness, speed. So Rhode Island, they got a lot of work to do. But if you can take that first half that they played and translate that for 40 minutes, now you have a team that can be competitive, but it's going to be very difficult to develop that kind of attitude when you're 1-11 on the season thus far.
So substitutions in for Providence. Powell can't get it. Lee Goldsboro gets called for the foul. Maurice Grant has come on as well for the Friars, as Powell goes to the free throw line. Well, again, in the first half, URI had a 7-point lead, came out in that first 10 to 15 minutes. They were playing 94 feet. They were getting stops on defense. They were finishing at the basket. They had a little bit of everything going right in that first half, and now Providence has been mentioned before, and we've been talking about Providence has proven in the second half they can find that gas pedal pretty easily. And when they hit it, they still have a lot left in reserve, and that speed we see for the full 40 minutes.
Well, this is a really good basketball team, and they have totally eliminated that attitude from last year. Also, the perception they were one of the worst defensive teams in the country. Well, that's not the same Providence College team that's on the floor this year. This is a really good team.
Feed inside. Anthony Malhoit gets his first 2 points of the game.
And one way or another, they will play in the postseason this year. And if they continue to play the way that they played, certainly in the second half of this game, I think that postseason could very well be the NCAA. Of course, you're playing in the Big Beast coming up very soon. But this is a really good basketball team.
And you saw that schedule. We had it up there just a moment ago. That St. John's game on the road at Carnesecca Arena will be on Cox at Georgetown. Those are the first 2 Big East games coming up Tuesday and Saturday of next week. And then you've got #1 Syracuse at the Dunk, Seton Hall at the Dunk, Louisville at the Dunk. Louisville right now is 11-0. Seton Hall is 10-1. Did I mention they're playing Syracuse twice before the middle of January? And then they're at the Carrier Dome January 14th.
Those guys haven't lost a game yet, have they?
They have not. I think if they're #1, I'm no math whiz, but Blake Vetter is on for Rhode Island, along with A.J. Kemp. Rayvon Harris is checked in as well. Powell will launch a 3. That won't go. Rebound knocked around and grabbed and sent up ahead. Providence spinning to the basket, and a foul called, and now give an opportunity for Maurice Grant to get to the free throw line. You can tell, you can see the back of the Providence jerseys. A lot of names on the jerseys. Maurice, there's no name on Maurice's jersey. Freshman from Bergen Catholic, Saddle River, New Jersey, getting an opportunity here at the free throw line to get on the score sheet.
That was a nice move on the inside, little spin move. Free throw off to the side of the rim.
There's the first point for Maurice as a member of the Friars.
That one went over the front rim.
Well, it got away quickly. That's what happens against this Providence team that has responded under their new head coach. What was a 35-33 Providence lead at halftime turned into a one-sided game. Providence putting 80 points up on the board. Shooting a high percentage from the floor. Right now they're at 48%. And again, the assist total jumps out. They had 4 at halftime. They have 11 assists in the second half, so 15 total assists. Have to have Ray look up how many assists, how many field goals in the second half to see how many assists went along with those field goals. Harris at the free throw line.
And they did a nice job on their offensive backboard, giving themselves second chance opportunities, not allowing Rhode Island to come down and get some free throws up, field goals up. And they also did a nice job turning Rhode Island over. They looked like they had some open passes, but Providence very, very quick into the lanes, anticipating those passes, playing.
And we are ready for basketball. Plenty of storylines to get to, but let's get to the opening tip. Earl Watson, Tim Clargerty, Carl Hess, our officiating crew. Providence in the road black, URI in the home white. Outer